Hello, friends. Sam and Graham doing TCGs yet again. Well, no, actually, that's not true. This is not just TCGs. Every now and then, you know how I like to be. Talk about something else. That's what we're doing tonight. Because I had one of those weird media experiences this weekend where two things newish, new to me, popped up, and I was intrigued and surprised by both of them. So, we're going to have a quick chat about those two things, where I am with them, at least so far in one case, and we will be avoiding spoilers wherever possible for both of these items. I was kind of excited after both of them, actually, so I just kind of wanted to talk about them. So, first off, and, the MCU in the room, Thunderbolts. I was very pleasantly surprised by that movie. So, I saw the trailers, and, there are very few Marvel MCU movies that I haven't been at least like, that was fine. Multiverse of Madness, that's the one I absolutely really don't like. And the most meh beyond that was Quantumania, I believe. Those are my two MCU movies. But I expected this to, again, be like, that was fine. It was better than that, honestly. I thought it was fun, an entertaining movie. A fair number of laughs, a fair number of just entertaining bits, which is interesting because it also, I've always liked the superhero, the superpowered, like Hulk versus Thor, or, like the really powerful people duking it out. And there's not really a whole lot of that kind of stuff here. Granted, you're looking at, super soldier level, but street level people for the most part. But it was just interesting. But on top of it just being an entertaining movie, I thought a fun movie, it had something to say and really got into some important and interesting emotional mental health, trauma, loneliness, PTSD, like all that kind of stuff got really looked at. And no movie, especially like a superhero comic book movie, is generally, you're not going to expect that to handle all of those things perfectly, right? But I thought it did it really well and better than most. I was really kind of impressed by all that. It had a really solid and interesting emotional core, as it were, that while simple, it's not, I don't think it was begged for. Like, it wasn't just one of those that we're going to pull at every string and manipulate you. Every movie's going to do that a little bit, right? But, like, the acting for the scenes came through so well. I've been, ever since I first saw her, was Black Widow, which I didn't love the movie, but I thought Florence Pugh was great in it. And I thought she was great popping up in Hawkeye. Just like everything that Florence Pugh has popped up in, I've been really impressed with her. So, like, she was great. David Harbour's always great. Even, what's his name? John Walker. Wyatt Russell, is that right? Apologies if I got that wrong. Gave an interesting, more nuanced, kind of jokey at times, but kind of that emotional covering up some emotions, performance. But man, Pullman, Bob, as he is credited, as he is referred to, was really interesting. Was kind of a revelation. I hadn't seen him in anything before, and I really enjoyed his performance. There wasn't really a performance in this that I didn't enjoy. Not a whole lot of just ridiculous. Oh, this person's terrible. Like, nobody stood out as being like a super weak link to me. So yeah, just overall, I thought that was it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I recommended it to a couple people. One of them called me right after he had gotten out of a buddy of mine. My buddy Tanner that I've talked about, that I showed his game that he made up. I showed that off on the channel. He called me right after and was like, "Oh yeah, no, you were right. Like, right on point." He's like, "Okay, okay, totally open moment." I'm a generally kind of emotional kind of guy, you know. I told him that I had teared up at 2 points. And when he called me, he's like, "I'm going to guess and then tell me if I'm right." And he guessed, but he nailed exactly the 2 points. And I was like, "All right, you got me. You got me good." So that was good times. But yeah, it excites me. Like, even some reviewers that can be pretty harsh critics on stuff that I watched online have given overall, you know, it's nothing art, but it was entertaining. Like, I liked it and I liked what it had to say, kind of reviews of it. So I've been really pleased to see, both to see that I liked it and that overall it's getting at least, hey, that was decent kind of reactions. Also kind of points to the MCU maybe having, I may not completely understand what the MCU's direction is, but it seems like they've kind of gotten one again after that not so much being the case for a while. So I'm excited about that too. Like, that just seems to show that, oh, all right, we're actually doing something. There might be some consistency, some coherence to this. So that's exciting. So that was the movie. Now, the other thing that I picked up, like, I was kind of looking for it. Was super pleased to see it on Game Pass. I'd started hearing about, honestly, I'm not even going to try and give you the French pronunciation of the beginning portion of the title, but Expedition 33. I'm not typically a fan of, like, an RPG with, like, a turn-based RPG. At least not a traditional one. Like, thinking of the Final Fantasy Pokemon, where you click the button to do the thing, your thing does the attack, and then you sit there while the computer does their thing, and then you do it again. So at first, seeing that this was a turn-based RPG, I was like, eh. But I kept on seeing people talking good about it. And so I looked it up. I was like, I'll see how much this thing is. Let's see if I want to play it. If it's worth taking a chance on a style of game that I don't typically... Now, I love RPGs. On a, like, gameplay style that's not usually my favorite. But it was on Game Pass, which I have. So I was like, okay, Xbox Game Pass. Let's give it a whirl. So I installed that, fired it up. So I know that outside of their main employees, they contracted extra help. But this is a studio with 30-ish full-time employees. And a number I saw, I don't know if this is true, it doesn't ultimately matter, but that they had contracted like 50 other people to help with them. Like, this is their first game. This is an indie game. I'm 10 hours into it. This game's fantastic, y'all. I'm utterly just what with this game. Just from I'm a story. I love stories. I love music. I love the way stories and music tells stories. The way stories flow into music. There is such good musical storytelling in this game. From the very first bit, like, you start the game after, picking settings, picking difficulty, all that jazz. And it just goes into this beautiful. It's like, it's pretty, it's bouncy, but a little bit of melancholy, like a little bit of sad to it too. Um, and just the way that continues to evolve through the prologue, which I guess the prologue, the intro and prologue was like my first hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And just the way the music tells the story so well, and really just amplifies what's going on. And again, no spoilers, but there's so much emotion and heart, and it's a little bit of a struggle at times. Like, the game gives a couple of content warnings right off the bat, which if you pick it up, like, you'll see that right off the bat. Like, so it's tough, but it has just jumped out so much to me as being just such a beautifully well crafted game. Like, playing this, I'm like, what do you mean this isn't from one of the big publishers? And it's almost better than what we've been seeing out of the big publisher. Like, graphically, it's gorgeous. Like, there are a couple little quirks here, from the Unreal Engine. But overall, like, it's beautiful. The design, it is a very unapologetically French product. Like, but the music has some like French flair. The Where you're starting out, like, this isn't a major spoiler, it looks to have French landmarks and stuff, like it's Paris, like Eiffel Tower, and you see stuff kind of looking destroyed. I don't know if it's literally supposed to be Paris, even at the point in the game I'm at, or if it's just patterned after it. But like, all this kind of stuff, like audio motifs, visual ones, just everything about it. Like I say, I'm about 10 hours in. I've just started Act 2. I don't know how many acts there are. But everything, I've been hooked. It's been one of those, like, anybody that I thought might be interested in it, I've had to tell them about it. Like, just getting the word out about this game. It's like, hey, you got Game Pass, Series S, Series X. I think it's on PS5, PC also, but and it's like, if you do, it's on Game Pass. Go play. But yeah, no, I've just been really impressed. So yeah, that was a weekend in media that I'm just like, this stuff's awesome. So it's like seeing Thunderbolts on Thursday night, then watching a ton of Flesh and Blood gameplay streaming on Saturday, and then diving right into Expedition 33. It was a good weekend. Just good times. But hey, always curious to hear from y'all. Which of you, have any of you seen Thunderbolts yet? What'd you think? Try and keep spoilers out of the comments if you leave any, but tell me what you thought, how you felt about it. Same with Expedition 33, and definitely don't spoil anything past Act 1, but try not to spoil anything for anybody else either. But yeah, if you've seen Thunderbolts or played Expedition 33, let me know what you're thinking about both of those. I'm excited to talk to people about them, so please share your thoughts. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this little diversion from TCG content, but I was excited about both of these things, so I really wanted to talk about them, so here we are. Let me know what you think. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following me down these rabbit trails sometimes. I really appreciate you. I'm thankful for every moment you give me. I know there are tons of things you can be doing with your time, so if you give me any of it, I really, really appreciate that. If you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And in any case, I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.